Welcome to the Quit Vaping podcast, the podcast designed to make you a non-listener. In this show, I'm not going to scare you away from a life of vaping. What I am going to do is show you just how good your life can be without it. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the podcast. Kind of crazy I've done 42 episodes, but here we go. It's a lot, right? It's a lot of vaping information. But just remember, it's not just about vaping and quitting vaping. It's about becoming the kind of person who feels their emotions and decides what you want to believe so that you can actually create the life you want to create. This is an entry point into the life that you really want the most, and this is a beautiful place using quitting vaping to teach you these tools. So that's what I want to say. And I also want to say this before I get going on the episode today. We're going to be talking about quitting later and learning the tools now. Very important concept. But I want to say it's fall in Michigan. I've been talking about this a lot because my favorite day of the year, Halloween, is coming up. And I grew up in the 90s. In like the late 90s, I was born in 95. So it was just such a fun time to be alive, especially in Michigan with Halloween and like Halloween Town and all that kind of fun stuff. And I know I've talked about it before, so I'll try not to talk your ear off, but I'm really excited. This is like my favorite week of the whole year. And there's just nothing but excitement involved in the leaves changing and everything. I'm going to go on a walk after this and just look at all the colors. And it's so nice. So if you haven't yet and you live somewhere where this is an option, go outside, enjoy the fall, and just take it all in. And love yourself the whole way through. And if any uncomfortable emotions come up, just let them be there. Like if you're walking through the woods and you just get like a wave of anxiety, take a deep breath and just breathe into it and let yourself know that nothing has gone wrong and it is okay. All right, so with that said, sorry, I had a rather anxious morning this morning. And it's funny, I just want to say this too. As a life coach, you name yourself a life coach and it's kind of a pretentious name and I get that. And then you just like expect that you have to be a life coach all the time and that you're not allowed to be a human being anymore with real emotions. So it's the funniest thing. Life coaches who teach their clients to feel their emotions end up trying to get out of their emotions because they think they shouldn't be feeling them because they're a life coach. Kind of backwards, kind of messed up. So the best life coaches have to retrain themselves into their own crap that they're teaching their clients over and over again. And that's what makes it so good. Of course, I have emotional issues. That is why I'm a life coach, right? If I never had an emotional issue in my life, like a wave of anxiety on a Monday morning, then I'd be kind of a crummy life coach. So go outside, give yourself space to feel all the emotions today, all the good ones, all the bad ones. Don't get out of them. Don't pathologize them. It's okay to have anxiety sometimes, and we're going to keep going. So today's episode is about learning the information now and quitting later. It's the entire philosophy between what I do. So remember on the last episode, I said that if you're rushing to quit vaping, it's because you think that you being a non-vapor will make you feel better than you do now. The only reason that we rush to do anything is because of how we think that the end result will make us feel. Well, the beautiful thing about your emotions is that your thoughts create them and you can think thoughts that will create good emotions right now. So instead of rushing to a result like being a non-vapor because of how you think it'll make you feel, you can just feel that way now. So why don't you just believe things about your life that make you feel really good right now? And it's in the skill set of doing that, managing your thoughts that create nice emotions and also, ironically, making space for you to not feel nice emotions sometimes. That's when it becomes very easy to quit vaping. Okay. So I think that so many people, when they like see this podcast or they kind of like talk to me or they do this work, they're thinking that if they decide to do this work or go all in or do the program, that they're going to have to quit vaping right now. And that simply isn't the case. I give lifetime access and everything. And the reason why I'm making so many episodes in this podcast is because it's a process to quit vaping. If it wasn't a process to feel your emotions and learn the thought work and do all of this, then I would have made like 5 podcast episodes and then it would have been done and we would have all been non-vapors by now. So what I'm saying is be patient with yourself. You do not need to rush to be a non-vapor. And if you do, I question your motives and I want you to go to the last episode and listen to it again, okay? Because if you're trying to rush, it means that you think your life is going to be better later, and that simply isn't true. This whole entire process of learning how to be a non-vapor by feeling your emotions and by monitoring your thoughts is going to give you an amazing life right now. And I want you to love your life so much right now that you just don't even want to vape anymore. That's exactly the skill set. It's kind of backwards, isn't it? So here's what I want to say. Like my emotional journey, my belief system journey was a journey. It was a process. I gave myself time and space. And like I literally had belief systems ingrained in me from when I was like literally 6 months old. Like my dad has been smoking my entire life, copious amounts of cigarettes. I got so much messaging my entire life from my parents that smoking is good and desirable and important and that nicotine's amazing. So of course it took some time to unlearn all of that. It took some time, it took some compassion for myself to actually question why I believe the things I believed about nicotine so I could do it with genuine curiosity. So many times when we do this work, especially as newbies, as new people trying to do this work, like you guys, if you're listening to this podcast, you're trying to like force yourself to believe new things. You don't really understand why, and you're mad at yourself. Like, stop doing that. This work is compassionate. It's a process. It takes time. And you just have to give yourself some space. It's like, why do you believe the things you believe about nicotine? And I say that without any judgment or shame, with so much curiosity. The moment that you judge yourself for believing something you're believing, or you judge yourself for taking action, is the exact moment this work stops working for you. Not because thought and emotional work doesn't work. Of course it does. It's because you're using it incorrectly. So I want you guys to just consider, what if you just played a game in your mind? What if this whole entire process, this podcast, if you ever sign up for the program, wasn't about quitting vaping? It was just about learning the skill set, and you never have to quit. Because so many of us, we make it so detrimental. We're like, okay, here's my quit date. And then you have these literal black clouds circle over your head, and then you have to wait in dread until that dreaded second you wake up on that morning on a Monday and you're like, I'm quitting today. And it's horrible. It's like, you know what? Quitting shouldn't be like that at all. You should be able to go, you know what? I don't have to quit ever, but I'm going to learn these tools. And then if I ever decide I don't want to vape anymore, it's going to be so great. That's exactly what I did, you guys. It wasn't dreadful, the quitting date. It really wasn't. I was excited and ready when I quit vaping, to the point where I literally just put down a vape one day. I'm like, I genuinely don't think I want this anymore. And I didn't want it. There was nothing dreadful about it, right? So whenever you're trying to rush yourself to a result, remember, the only reason that you're trying to rush is to get there because you think that there will be better. And it doesn't matter if you're doing that vaping or with making a certain amount of money or marrying a certain person or buying a certain car or house. If you think there will be better, I promise you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because things outside of you do not create your emotions. Your thoughts do. So if you're not managing your thoughts now, and you think that later when you get that car, you're just going to feel better, you think that a car creates feelings. It doesn't. You think that you being a not vapor creates feelings, emotions. It doesn't. Your thoughts do. Okay? So this work's all about doing it now so that you can enjoy right now, because if you can enjoy right now, you can enjoy later. We get really good at what we practice. So many of us get really good at practicing rushing through things so that we can get to the end goal. Well, as Miley Cyrus likes to say, it's all about the climb. And I know that's so ironic and so corny, and I love it so much because it really is. And Miley knew what she was talking about. So this is what the whole work is about, okay? It's about learning the information now and quitting later. And here's the thing. If you think about it like a game, because it's kind of fun. I had a client the other day who we're doing an experiment. It's like, what if it isn't about quitting vaping at all? What if you just go into this course, this program, to have fun? You show up to the calls to talk about stuff in a not dark and dreary way. Just let's genuinely look through stuff with curiosity and love for ourselves. What if that's what you do? And then at the end, if you want to quit vaping, you can quit vaping. And you know what's so fun is that you can take this same mentality and do the same thing with anything else in your life. What if it's okay to be single for a while? What if you could learn to love yourself single so much that you just have a good time anywhere you go? And because you love being single, you attract someone into your life who wants a part of that. They're like, gosh, this person just loves themselves so much, exactly how their life is. I think it'd be so fun to get around them and be around them. Do you see how that's different than I need to be married to feel good? It's like, no, I can feel good right now. And because I feel good, I actually attract people who want to be around me. And then I have a fantastic marriage. And you know what the great part about that is that you're not attached to the marriage. I'm so good by myself. It's just a bonus I get to be with you and be married to you. But I don't need you to feel good. Really important relationship tool, by the way. Same thing with work. What if it's like, wait a minute, I don't need the management position. That's 5 years down the line. I don't really need it right now. What if I could learn to love myself so much in my job right now and just be so happy that I have this part of my job that I get the management position in 2 years because people see how much I love my job and how much energy that I bring that's positive. When we stop waiting for the result, let's do another one. 1 minute. One minute. Okay, this is a fun one. The vacation. So many of us know this one, right? I'm not going to have fun in my life, and I won't enjoy and relax until I go on the vacation that's a year away that I can go to wherever, Bolivia. Let's say Bolivia. That was a random country that popped in my head, but I would love to go to Bolivia. I speak Spanish, so always want to go to South America. But what if instead of waiting for Bolivia in a year, you just decide to feel good right now about your life and you just appreciate every day so much to the fullest? Well, here's the thing. What you practice, you get really good at. So if you practice rushing through the entire year before your vacation, when your vacation comes, you're rushing through that so quickly. Here's on the other hand, if you love your life so much, every minute you live it to the fullest because you practice doing that. It's a practice. You don't just wake up one day and have this. You actually practice managing your thoughts, practice feeling good and allowing yourself to feel bad on purpose. Then when you get to your vacation, you're going to have that skill set built up of actually enjoying being in the present moment and letting it be whatever it is without judgment? What if you practice loving your job now, even though you still want the promotion later? Like, listen, guys, I want to have $1 million a year business. Why? Because it'd be so fun. Like, do you know how much fun I could have with $1 million? How many lives I could change? How many lives I would have to have changed to get that money? It's great. Who doesn't want a big life, right? Who doesn't want those results? But that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying this moment right now. I'm in my little 1-bedroom apartment right now, literally beaming from ear to ear, smiling because I am so happy to just have this opportunity to be exactly where I'm at. And because I'm enjoying my present moment, not only am I going to get to the result much faster, I'm not rushing through the current moment, and I get really good at what I practice. So if I enjoy the present moment right now, when I actually become $1 million coach and I'm making that money and I have a huge business and I'm hiring people, I'll enjoy that too. I like to call it the best of both worlds experience. Another Hannah Montana reference, because you get to enjoy the process now. And because you enjoy the process now, you actually enjoy the result. You get better when you achieve it. But I promise you, if I'm trying to rush to a finish line right now, like being a non-vapor or being at $1 million or having that house or that wife or that husband, hello, then I'm going to get really good at not enjoying the present moment. And that's what I'm going to bring into the result that I have. So that's why so many people don't like quitting vaping, because they try to force themselves into a result they don't want yet. And then they hate it. And then they have to vape again because they don't feel good about any of it. So don't do that. Learn the information now. Learn how to just be with your emotions. And you might be like, Andrew, I'm good at that. But I promise you, if you're currently addicted to nicotine and you don't want to be, you're not good at feeling your emotions. That's exactly why you're addicted to nicotine. So maybe you can go and start to learn that process. You can sign up for a program that you have lifetime access to show up to calls. I know that it can be intimidating, but they're just group coaching calls like this. We're literally just having a loving conversation. There's no judgment. There's no agenda. There's nowhere to be. Like, coaching is amazing. So maybe you could join that program. Maybe you could learn the actual only 2 method that I teach you how to do in the program. Maybe you could have lifetime access. Maybe in a week or in a year, you've gotten so good at these tools that you look at a vape and you go, you know what? I actually don't think I need this anymore. And that's when you put it down. And that's when there's no dread. And that's when the foundation for the life that you want the most comes. Because the moment that you can put down your vape because you don't want it anymore, that means you're feeling your emotions. And you know what happens to people who feel their emotions? They set big goals for themselves because they're no longer scared of feeling an emotion that they used to be scared of and use nicotine to cover up. So I just want to talk for a second about being seen. What does it mean to be seen? Being seen is that you're allowing yourself to put yourself into uncomfortable emotions and be fully present with those. I define self-love as choosing what to think on purpose and being with all of your emotions without resistance and without numbing them with things like nicotine. So the moment that you can put yourself into all the uncomfortable emotions, whether it's anxiety or it's shame or it's fear or if it's boredom. I have a lot of people say they're just bored. They just don't want to be with boredom. The moment that you can sit in boredom and you don't need to escape it, that's what it feels like to be seen. And that's the exact moment you realize that negative emotions really aren't that bad. That's the worst thing that could happen, is that you could resist them or numb over them. And that's when we become addicted to things. That's when we become morbidly obese. That's when we stay in jobs that we hate because we're too scared to go after what we really want. So this is the skill set. Be patient with yourself. And I want to read something. I just put a TikTok out the other day, and let me tell you a comment somebody said. All right, so I put out a fun little TikTok saying like, hey, here's the actual problem with addiction and nicotine. If you're vaping, addiction is an emotional problem. And I went on to explain how, pay attention to the triggers that you have for vaping. There's most likely a negative emotion in your body present, like anxiety or even boredom, before you hit your vape. And that's why you're hitting your vape, to get out of that uncomfortable emotion, right? You've trained yourself to use nicotine to get out of those emotions. And this is what the person said. They said, I think of Hulk Hogan. Hey, brother. I simply want to hit the stick. It's not that deep. And I went on to make another video and I said, well, the reason that you want, and I want to really get specific on this, the reason that you want to hit your vape is because of the uncomfortable experience in your body that is making you want it. Without an emotion present, you would not want to hit your vape. The wanting is the presence of a negative emotion. And I think it's really important to understand that. The reason that we do anything is because of an emotion. So what does that mean? That we're just going to be subject to our emotions? No, because we can control how we respond to them. But it's a skill set that takes time to learn. If you have anxiety in your body and you've trained yourself to get out of anxiety, by the way, most of us are completely unconscious of this process, then you're going to always be vaping, right? And you're not going to really know why. At the moment that we can learn how to name an emotion, how to feel an emotion, now we have agency, control over how we act to the emotion. How do we respond to it? So yes, can you manage your emotions with your thinking? Yes. Remember, your thoughts create your emotions. So you can actually decide what you want to think. There's a lot of anxiety in your life right now that if you're not managing your mind, which you're probably not if you have not learned the tools. If you're not managing your mind, you're creating a lot of unnecessary anxiety with your thinking. Example, when my mom worries about me for being an adult, pretty much, that's a lot of unnecessary worry and anxiety she's creating because she's not managing her thoughts and she's trying to control things that she can't control. Unnecessary, right? But then there's also a normal amount of anxiety that's completely normal to have. Something happens, you don't like it, something scary happens, you're feeling anxious, you have a big test coming up, normal to feel anxious, right? So there's two things we can do. We can either change the thoughts and remove some of the anxiety, or we can just learn how to feel the anxiety. And the moment that you learn how to feel the emotion is when you stop reacting to it by needing to get out of it with nicotine, okay? So this is a process. Learn the information now. You don't even need to set a quit date. I think that if you think you need a quit date, you actually haven't learned the information. So sign up for the program. It's badass. This is the most value-packed program I could have even thought of creating. It's $300 now. I don't know if I'm going to change that. I probably will after the first 100 people enroll. I think I'm going to go up to 500. And the reason why it's 300 as opposed to it being 97 like it used to is because I've given you lifetime access to live weekly coaching calls with me that are optional, and a Discord and a whole bunch of other goodies. But I wanted to make this program as effective as possible. I sincerely believe in live life coaching, and I sincerely believe that for you to actually get the biggest results by a landslide, you need the live coaching element. That's what's dramatically changed my life. When I was quitting vaping, the reason I quit is because I was getting live coached in my certification over and over again. And that's what eventually led me to change the beliefs, feel the emotions, actually apply the material, right? Live life coaching is an absolute blessing. It's amazing. If you sign up now, you're going to get lifetime access to it. And this program will work for you. And I think a big part of it, obviously, is because it's a badass program, but also is because you have direct access to me. And I promise you, I don't bite. I'm not scary. This is going to be a very loving container to talk about things with no agenda. Okay? That's what coaching is. It's beautiful. If you want help applying this information, there's not going to be a better time to do it than now, because I think I am going to raise the price after 100 people, and it's just a badass value at either price point. But hey, why not get it cheaper? And you'll have lifetime access to everything that you need to quit vaping for good. I will no longer offer the course without an optional live feature. That's why I'm no longer doing the $97. Everyone who bought it before has been automatically enrolled to the new one. You're welcome. Enjoy that. Show up, get the most out of it. I know it can be intimidating to get on a live call, but I promise you, this is where the growth takes place. And if you want to be fully seen, that's one of the best places to do it. So thank you so much for being here. Please have a safe Halloween. I will be dressed up as Damien from Mean Girls. I'm going to have a blast, and I will be doing some fall little cute stuff with a guy. It'll be great. So thank you for being here again. Have a nice day, and hopefully I'll see you in the course where we are going to become non-vapors permanently forever, and we're going to do it from a foundation of self-love and just curiosity and compassion. See you next week, guys. What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying the show and that each episode is bringing you one step closer to becoming a non-listener. If you'd like to take all this information to the next level and finally quit vaping for good, you can check out the course link in my bio. Have a great day. See you next week.